What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to show to you another vacuum that's in my vacuum collection. This time it is of another Hoover upright. What I have for your viewing pleasure today is a Hoover Decade 800. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you longtime subscribers are probably going to be questioning that if this is the same Decade 800 that I featured in a video a while back. And yes, it is. Why am I making another video on it? Well, after recently acquiring a Hoover Decade 80, linked to the video of that vacuum in the description box of this video, I have been wanting to do a remake of the video on the 800 for a while. Particularly because I was not too happy with how that video came out. Especially when you got to the running portion of the video and a headlight literally burnt out on camera during the filming. So I have been wanting to make a remake of that video ever since. And ever since I just got finished making a video on the Decade 80, I figured why not do it again on the 800? So, here you go. So by the time of seeing that video, it will be taken down and replaced with this one. I will leave up the cleaning performance video I made on this, even though that one did not have a working headlight at all. For both bulbs, I should mention. I'm still going to leave that one in place. Maybe I'll do another video. Another cleaning performance video, hopefully with a working headlight. But I'll have to think of a different brush roll to run in that. But besides that, I actually bought this cleaner on eBay a couple of years ago after always wanting a high-end convertible machine. And these Decades are probably my favorites in the convertible lineup as far as style and features. They just have everything you could want in a convertible back then. So for now, let's go ahead and give a walkthrough of the cleaner. This being one of the high end of the convertible series, it does have its own specific handle design and lower base to accommodate that. And part of that is so that it can run the deluxe style upper handle that is also shared with the non-self-propelled Concepts that has the power switch mounted on the back. The first position is just on, and then the second section is a momentary selection for power surge, as said on the front of the handle, right below the Hoover symbol. So it's a momentary spring back switch. So when you push and hold, the motor will kick into a higher speed, but then when you let go, it falls back into its regular on position. I'm thinking this is mostly done to prolong the life of the motor, but I'm still kind of confused on why Hoover decided to do this instead of making a more durable motor and having the power switch be low and high speed. But it is what it is. I'm not going to do anything to complain, but that's just a weird oddity that Hoover did on cleaners from the 80s. And right on the side here, you do have a nice long 30-foot power cord. And here are the videos for where this was at one point serviced. Coming on down here, the hood is in not the best condition. It definitely does need a plastic polish. And also I need to glue down this part of the sticker because it is coming up. But it is not a major deal. That doesn't affect the function of the vacuum. It has the here's your Decade 800 lettering on the front, heavy duty, Hoover symbol right up there, and you have edge cleaning on either side. And my favorite feature on these decades is the edge light. And here is what's left of the lettering over here. But basically, this allows the headlight to shine off to the side of the cleaner, which makes a very nice light beam. And you are going to notice that when I turn the vacuum on. And also, you do have your carpet height adjustment right here that adjusts from high to low. And you also do have your lettering that shows up right here. So there's shag, high, normal, and low. I always leave it on low for the pile of this carpet. But one thing to note about these decades as well as the convertibles is that the carpet height actually adjusts by the back wheels instead of the front. A lot of other vacuum manufacturers did this back then as far as carpet height adjustment, which kind of is a little bit better, but it wasn't very practical. I mean, better as far as like adjusting the brush roll to the pile of the carpet. But the maintenance probably wasn't too good for these back then because of that, so they decided to move it up to the front. Or I'm not too sure what the actual reason by vacuum manufacturers discontinuing their rear mount wheels. I'm guessing it's because the front wheels were easier because they were usually the recessed ones, while the rear wheels on those were usually exposed, so you can easily transport the cleaner, which it's kind of hard to do this when the vacuum's all the way in the highest position. So that's probably the reason why. So, and your pedal release is right over here. And before we show you the underside, let's go ahead and show you the outer bag. Later decade 800s would actually use a cloth outer bag, while as the decade 80s would use a vinyl outer bag. And this one does have the air fresh scent tablet up here. You can adjust the scent right there. An air freshener right there. You can get your tablet out like so. This one obviously doesn't have it because it disintegrated over the years. And the zipper for these is on the bottom, and you zip it up to gain access to your inner bag, which is kind of odd, but this has always been a convertible thing back then. I'm not too sure why they reversed the zipper, but it is what it is. Here on the back, you do have your Type A bag set up, which is a top fill design, and it's much more convenient to get the bag in and out compared to the Type C bottom fill bag, which really was a bit impractical back then, but that was the first of the disposable bag systems on these. The Type A's carried over to other cleaners, such as the Concept 1 and the Elite. Actually, it all started in the Concept 1, and it eventually carried over to these decades and later on into the Elites. Y bags will fit this, but I wouldn't really use those because they're not very large. So you'd have to stop and change bags more frequently than you would with these. But they're not terrible. I would do some extra research and buy HEPA cloth A bags. I know it's much easier to find HEPA cloth Y bags, and they will fit. It's just you do lose a little bit of capacity when doing as such. So let's go ahead and show you the underside. Here is the bottom plate, which unfortunately is a plastic plate that Hoover did that discontinues the metal bottom plate. They did keep that around mostly, I think, for the commercial machines, but a lot of the homeowner ones went to this plastic plate. And the brush roll in this, I do not believe is the original, because I know a lot of other of these cleaners, they had the triple action agitator with two brush strips, as well as two beater bars, which creates Hoover's famous action. It beats as it sweeps, as it cleans. This brush roll, I do believe, may be from a Guardsman, because it has 4 brush strips instead of just 2. And these are the black brush strips, and they are the much softer brush strips. And they do groom very nice, I will say. It is much nicer. This thing definitely picks up a lot better than the triple action does, but the triple action one definitely beats the carpet much better than this guy does. This one does better at sweeping the carpet. It just sweeps as it cleans. It doesn't beat. But the bristles are very nice and dense, so it definitely does great as far as cleaning performance. And the latches right here will hold on your bottom plate, and it tips off like that. Another point I do see for failure on these comes in the form of these latches right here. The original metal base plate had two tanks sticking out at the front here, and it was held on by a little metal wire right there that it would hinge on like that. I think Hoover did this mostly for structural reasons of the plastic base, because the 2 tiny ones up front probably wouldn't have worked on this for very long. So that's kind of why I see them doing that. But here's a better look at your 4 bristle brush roll, and also a 6-blade fan impeller. And there's also your little instructions of how to properly install the belt on this thing. And let's go ahead and line up the latches and hinge the base plate on, and it just latches in place like that. And here is the model number of the cleaner. It is U4503-900, 120 volts, 60 hertz, 6.5 amps. Interesting that this has a 0.5 amp difference compared to the original Decade 80, which would come with 6 amps. The belt is 49258AG. Serial number for this is 1189. To decode this, the first 2 digits decode the month of manufacture, 3rd and 4th will decode the year. So 11 of 89 would be November of 1989. For the Hoover Company in North Canton, Ohio, for household use only, made in the USA. That is the thing to love about these Hoovers, is that they are US made. You will never see too many vacuums these days that aren't made in the USA. They don't sell for very, very cheap. That just shows how good a quality that these were made back then. Of course, there are a bunch of other factors that demonstrate the quality compared to modern day vacuums in the department store, but I digress. One thing I do like about these is the cord release. And when you rotate this, there is also another catch at the bottom that will pull the cord outwards, so you can better release it from the cord hook, which I find really convenient on these Decades, as well as some of the non-self-propelled, or excuse me, the non-cord reel Concept 1s and Concept 2s, which is very convenient. And the cord is very nice and long. That is one thing I've really never liked about the convertibles, is that the lower end ones, the cords are pathetically short, to the point you will have to stop and keep changing plugs because of how short that thing is. It's very annoying at times, but it's nice that this has a much longer cord. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on and give you a demo of it running. Power switch is on the back of the handle. So here we go. Look at that headlight beam. It's probably my favorite thing about these Decades. show you the power surge function. Back to normal. Thing runs very nice. And even though the brush roll may not beat as good as the beater bar triple action agitator would, this actually does do a very good job at agitating, surprisingly, even for having the softer bristles. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this video of the Hoover Decade 800. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.